believe their act is called Shackley the Old-Fashioned
The
Way.
old-fashioned way.
It's wonderful to be here, and the Barbara's children family just absolutely wonderful. I had no idea that as well as I knew you and saw you almost on a daily basis, how many other things you did with your life. It was very, very heartwarming to hear all that. But I've also learned tonight from just listening to all of the talk around how differently people remember things. And I'm going to tell you how I remember it, and there might be somebody else who can have a little different idea. But
Closer to your mouth. Okay.
Okay. I have a big family. I have 7 children, and right now we have 21 grandchildren and 12 great-grandchildren. But my husband was in the construction trade, and income was sporadic. I mean, winters, and it just we needed for me to work when I could. So I looked for part-time jobs, and my sister invited me to a Shackley meeting. I didn't know a thing about Shackley, and she said, "Oh, you'll love it. They're all made from fruits and vegetables. It was creams." And I said, I don't really like strawberry scented face cream, Anyway, she twisted my arm, and I went. I was so impressed with the quality of the product, and the young man who presented it was wonderful, knowledgeable. I was very, very impressed. So I bought some Shackley things, and I went home. And a few days later, I was having iced tea with Vivian on my deck in Oak Park, where we both lived. And we were working on a church bazaar together, and we were just kind of touching base. And so I said to her, "Vivian, have you ever heard of Shackley?" And she said, "Oh, sure, I've been using Shackley for years." Well, I never heard about it, and we were not as close as we became later, but we were friendly. Anyway, she said, "There's a girl on the next block that sells it." So she sent me to Barbara's house. And because I was determined that this was something I could do, I could believe in it, I could enjoy it, and so I went to Barbara's house and rang her doorbell. And I don't know if you remember what I said, but I said, "I'm interested in selling Shackley." And Barbara, I do remember that Joanne Stone was in the house with Barbara, and I'm not sure if any of you have any recollection of Joanne Stone, but Barbara didn't really know what to do with me. It's from what I could overhear. They went in the kitchen and talked. And I heard Joanne Stone say, "Well, put Vivian down as her sponsor because Vivian sent you." So that was, I didn't even know what a sponsor was, But Barbara and I kind of, do you remember we went to that business meeting that, what was his name? I don't know. Anyway, we went to a business meeting together, and Barbara had not really done the business. No, okay, we were in it together. I can claim that I think that she did the first nutrition meeting ever for me.
That's right.
She came to my house in a pink polyester pantsuit.
She still has it.
That she had made herself. We were very much homebodies then, Well, anyway, we talked about the skincare products, and I was not at all interested in nutrition. I love to cook. I planned in meals. My kids all ate well. I had five of those 7 were boys, and they all ate every day. I knew that they were getting at least I thought they were, all the nutrition that they needed. But Barbara, after I got to know her, then she said to me, "But how are you? Do you feel, you have no complaints at all about your health or anything?" I said, "I feel wonderful." I said, "Well, I do have headaches, and I take aspirin every day for headaches, and that's the only thing that I could say bothered me." And I had gone to a doctor about it, and he said, if I had 7 kids, I'd have a headache too. So Barbara said in her inimitable way, headaches aren't caused by aspirin deficiency. And so she suggested that I take vitamin E, and that's where I started. And within, I don't know, it happened so naturally. Maybe a couple of weeks, I thought, gee, I didn't take aspirin today. Maybe come to think of it, I didn't take it yesterday either. But within a matter of a month, I was no longer taking aspirin, and I was sold on, the idea of approaching problems with nutrition rather than anything else. So anyway, it was a fun time, lots of fun. We had, let me just see if I can remember exactly what I wanted to say.
We have a product for that.
There's a shack for that.
So I began to talk to others, and Barbara and I had worked together, and I had some meetings, and people became interested, and I talked to some of my friends that actually had heard of Shackley, but had lost contact with the person that had sold it to them. Do you know that used to be, I don't know if it is now, but the #1 reason why people stop using Shackley is because they lose contact with the person that sold it to them. But it's so much more wonderful now that they can all do it themselves. They don't have to wait for anyone. Shackley has enriched my life in so many ways. My life, Vivian's life, all of our lives in so many ways. With health, just with friendships, and with income. I have been able to take my children, all of my children who are married, and with all the grandchildren, on a trip. We go every other year to the Outer Banks. We rent a huge, big, 2 houses at least on the ocean, and have an absolutely wonderful time together. I have pictures that are priceless of our family, and all of that was because of my Shackley income. I couldn't have done it otherwise. So it is. Well, Vivian is going to join in here. We're only taking 5 minutes each. I think I probably overrun that. But she's going to join in. The business was so different then, so different. My only problem ever was cash flow, because I would have to have enough cash to order cases of product from Shackley, wait the 2 weeks to get them back, send them out, and wait to get the check back from the customer. That was the only difficult part about Shackley. And Vivian's going to talk a little more about that.
No, we go way back, don't we?
Yeah.
We have such a nice friend. We've had a wonderful journey here in Shackley, and we all go way back. And the 3 of us, Barbara, and you, and me. Barbara's interest mostly was she was interested in the cleaning products and the environmental products. You were interested in the business, and I was interested in the nutrition, because I was wanting to help myself feel better. So actually, I started in January. I signed up January 5th, 1973. That's when I started on the Shackley food supplements. And I actually went to the person across the street from Barbara and had her, I knew her from church, and she came over to my house with another friend, and we sat in the living room floor, and she hauled out this big case of Shackley. That was how, when you became a distributor, a member, you got this big green suitcase. It looked like a doctor's case. And they had to put out a few of the products. And they said, you mix this with water or juice, and you swallow it. You drink it, rather. You chew this one, you swallow that one. And so I started with instant protein, great product. Then I chewable C, calcium, and Vital E. Those were the 4. Within about a week, I felt so much better. I felt like a new person. And I was so excited about it. Well, all that time, all those several years went by. I enjoyed the products. I added a few more products that Jackie introduced. And then one day I was at the high school cooking class. They mentioned that in the tape, that Barbara did a cooking class. And that's where I met Barbara. Do you remember that? I forgot. Yeah. Your creme brulee, I still have the recipe. and so we found out that she lived across the street from the person I was getting my Shackley from. And so her name was Marion Brown. So I started getting my product getting my product from Marion Brown. She was getting product from Marion Brown. And then poor Marion Brown was just she was just overwhelmed with these people that were coming to her house for product. And her husband said, wait a minute, I don't think I like this. He says, too many people, too much commotion, I don't like my dinners being interrupted, so forth. Please quit. She quit. Can you imagine? So the good lesson about that is don't quit. You never know if you're going to have a master coordinator down the line someplace. And several years ago, I ran into Marion in the parking lot at the Jewel. And I said, Marion, do you ever think about what happened when you gave up Shackley? She said, don't mention it. Yes.
John Stowe makes $7,000 a month.
That's something. Yeah, they could, well, it was.
Well, let me just say one thing.
Yes.
Should I make, when I went to the skincare meeting, the young man who was so personable and knowledgeable and never said one word about becoming a member. And I think, did I say that before, that I would have joined in and become a member, but I think it's a really good lesson for everybody who ever struggles with whether or not that's the thing to do. Not so much anymore, but it's just really important to understand that concept.